time to fact check the fact checkers. Let's get started. It's going for like a Dr. Mike vibe. Did I get it? Does heartburn mean my baby's gonna be really hairy? You might be surprised to find out that this one is actually true. Now, definitely your baby is not going to come out looking like Chewbacca just because you have heartburn, but after many years of just believing this as an old wives' tale, finally some researchers got together and were like, we need to do a study on this. So they got together 64 women that were pregnant. They looked at the hairiness of their baby when they were born and how severe their heartburn was during their pregnancy. There was a correlation between women that had moderate to severe heartburn actually had babies that had normal to extra amounts of hair when they were born, compared to moms that had no heartburn. They actually had little to no hair when their babies were born. I hope that doesn't make you concerned, because I guarantee your baby will look absolutely beautiful. Believe it or not, 78% of women experience heartburn during pregnancy. Oh, the things that we do for our baby. Can I hang laundry on the line while pregnant? I have no idea where this ever came from. It is definitely a myth and not true at all. Women worry about hanging their clothes on the line because the old wives' tale said that if they lifted their hands above their head, as you would if you were hanging clothes on a line or doing many other activities in your daily life, there was an increased chance that your baby's cord would get wrapped around their body. And obviously that can cause lots of problems during delivery or after the baby is born. I'm really hoping that a mom that was just feeling totally overworked and wanted her family to start helping her out with chores around the house is where this thing started. Either way, we cannot use this as a good excuse not to hang the laundry, because it's absolutely not true. We do know that there's an increased likelihood of the cord being wrapped if the cord is abnormally long, or if the umbilical cord is actually attached to the placenta, which is where your baby gets all the nutrition that it needs during your pregnancy. If that cord is not attached right in the center and instead it's on one of the sides, that could increase the risk of the cord getting wrapped around your baby. If you do deliver your baby after 42 weeks of gestation, which is very uncommon to happen here in the United States, there is an increased risk of that cord being wrapped around your baby. I heard it's okay to have a glass of wine when I'm pregnant. Is this okay? Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go with myth on this one. And as much as I would have really enjoyed a glass of wine, especially during those last few weeks and months of pregnancy, it is not safe to have wine during pregnancy. The reason they don't have a number that is safe, like, okay, if you just have one glass or you just have so many ounces, is because everybody's weight and the way that they metabolize the alcohol is different. 2 drinks per day or more than that, you are definitely putting your baby at risk for fetal alcohol syndrome and other things that are not good for our babies. So we know that drinking moderate to a lot of alcohol is certainly not good, but we really just don't have any research saying how much would be a safe amount for you to drink during your pregnancy. And overall, I think we can all agree that there really are no nutritional benefits or just benefits in general besides some extra relaxation that comes from drinking alcohol. And this is a time when you are not only trying to take care of your own body, but you're actually growing a life and they're depending on you for a lot of nutrition so that their body can develop. If there was ever a time to refrain from alcohol, this would definitely be one of them. I'm pregnant. Time to start eating for 2. This is another wives' tale that I really wish were true, because I think, like many of you, I was really hungry during my pregnancy. Believe it or not, during your first trimester, which is those first 14 weeks, you actually don't need any extra calories in your diet. What you are already intaking is perfectly fine. During your second trimester, which is the middle of your pregnancy, they recommend about 340 extra calories per day. And during your third and final trimester, they recommend about an extra 450 calories per day. All that being said, this is based on the fact that you are taking in the perfect amount of calories for your body and your nutritional needs before you have your baby. And I think it's also worth mentioning here that calories are not all created equal. So filling your extra calorie space with extra bowls of ice cream is really not a good idea. The things that you should be doing during your pregnancy are making sure you're getting lots of protein, lots of good vitamins and minerals from the food that you're eating. As much as you can, avoid eating lots of processed and sugary foods, even though I know this is what you're craving. If we have sex while we're pregnant, we'll poke our baby. Having intercourse during pregnancy will not lead your baby to look like Swiss cheese. I have so many people that are concerned about this that I actually made a whole video, and I will link that above, about the ways that you can safely have intercourse and the reasons why it's definitely not dangerous. But for the sake of this video, I will just tell you that there is a whole vaginal canal, a closed cervix if you are having a non-complicated low-risk pregnancy. There is no way you will be poking your baby or shooting sperm up into your baby's space. So I hope you feel completely comfortable having intercourse during pregnancy, because your baby is actually very safe. My baby girl will steal my beauty during pregnancy. Is this possible? Now, I can't speak from personal experience on this one because I had 2 boys, but I know plenty of women that have had girls, and from a totally unscientific point of view, this certainly was not true for them. We do know that during pregnancy we have a lot of changes in hormones, and sometimes these hormones actually make us have things like more acne, they cause us to store fat more, we gain a lot of weight because we're having a baby, and most of us do not feel more attractive during our pregnancy. Now, there are definitely women who look absolutely stunning during their pregnancy, however, most of us don't feel more attractive whether we're having a boy or a girl. So I hope you're not worried about getting a case of the uglies because your ultrasound told you that you're gonna be having a baby girl. If I eat spicy food while I'm pregnant, will my baby be blind? Fact. No, I am completely kidding you guys. No, that is definitely not true. You can eat all the spicy food that you want during your pregnancy and it will not have any effect on your baby. Now, you may end up with more heartburn because eating spicy food is correlated with more heartburn, but that will make you suffer, definitely not your baby. I heard I have to sleep on my left side during pregnancy. This one is another myth. But it is a little bit of a complicated myth because it is true that laying on your left side is the most beneficial position that your body can be in. However, if you sleep on your right side, that's totally fine. You are not harming your baby. Now, we do know because of some recent research that's been done that sleeping on your back is not the best way to sleep if you are pregnant. Now, I'm not talking about in the first trimester when there's like barely a bump there. I'm talking more about the second and third trimester when the weight of baby is becoming pretty obvious. During this time, it's best to not sleep on your back because it has been linked to an increased risk of miscarriage or stillbirth. Now, please, please, please don't take this to mean that because you slept on your back, this is why you had a miscarriage or stillbirth. That is absolutely not true. Like, I was even nervous about even saying this in this video because there are so many people out there that did absolutely nothing wrong and miscarriage or stillbirth happened and it had nothing to do with anything that they did. But to be completely honest, this channel is all about helping you become empowered with information so that you can take care of your body in the best way possible. And I think most of us would want to know if there was something as simple as sleeping on our backs to help lower the risk of stillbirth or miscarriage. So I hope this doesn't make you scared. Getting sleep is definitely more important than making sure you never move in your sleep and you're always in the right position. That's not good for your body either, but as much as possible, try to sleep on your side. If you wake up in the night not on your side, roll over to your side. Maybe keep a pillow between your legs so it's a little bit harder to roll onto your back during the night without waking up. Sorry guys, that got serious really quick. On a much lighter note, someone is wondering, can I keep my cat during pregnancy? Yes, absolutely. Do not get rid of your cat. In fact, that might cause you a lot of stress, and stress is not good for you during pregnancy either. So please keep your cat. The reason that this urban legend ever started was because there is a risk of toxoplasmosis being transferred from your cat's feces to you and then your fetus. Worth noting here though, toxoplasmosis is not only something you can get from your cat's feces, it's also something you can get from the dirt, so if you work in the garden, or from consuming any type of raw meat. No matter how you get toxoplasmosis, it's not good because it can cause birth defects for your baby. So obviously, if there are things we can do to decrease the risk of getting toxoplasmosis, we want to do that. However, you do not need to go to the extreme of getting rid of your cat. All you need to do is either ask someone in your family to help you get rid of the cat litter, or you can simply wear gloves and just make sure that you wash your hands so that there is no chance that any feces remnants are getting anywhere near your mouth or on anything that you would touch before you would eat, and you will be all safe. On that note, you would also want to cook your meats to make sure you're not consuming raw meat and wash your hands good whenever you're handling raw meat, as well as wearing gloves in the garden or washing your hands really well before you're gonna go ahead and eat. Is it possible for my laptop to cook my baby with its Wi-Fi? Yikes, that seems a little extreme. There is definitely no record of any babies getting cooked with Wi-Fi. However, this does bring up a really good point. It is never a good idea to put yourself in a situation where your internal belly temperature is going to heat up. That's why we recommend staying away from saunas unless you're really monitoring your body temperature, keeping the temperature lower than normal, or submerging in a full hot tub, because again, this increases the risk of that belly temperature really heating up and it getting too hot for your baby in there. Placing your laptop directly on your body is another way that you could overheat things inside your belly. So while it's okay to use your laptop, it's not a good idea to set your laptop right on your belly. Also worth mentioning is that there has been some research done on the EMF waves that our computers emit to be able to connect and power to the internet with the Wi-Fi and all that good stuff. And they actually say that laptops emit more than is considered a safe level according to all these standards. And I'll link the article in the description below. I'm not gonna get into all the nitty gritty here. All that being said, it's really a deceiving name to call it a laptop because not only pregnant women, but really nobody should be having their laptop directly on their lap or their belly because that is putting those waves like right in the way of our reproductive organs. We don't really know exactly what it could do to our babies, but again, I think if there's an easy thing we can do to prevent anything bad happen to our children, that seems like a pretty simple step that most of us can easily take. I've got one more myth to bust for you, but before I jump into that, I would love to have you put in the comments what is the craziest old wives' tale that you've ever heard, or something that you've heard and you're like, oh man, maybe that is true. Put it in the comments, and either I'm gonna be making a part 2 to this video, or at least I can get a great laugh for the day because some of these things are just ridiculous. Our final fact or fiction for today is about hot dogs. Are hot dogs on the do not eat list while pregnant? Fact, they are on the do not eat list while pregnant. However, the reason they're on there is because there is an increased risk of listeria by consuming hot dogs. This risk also exists with eating things like raw lunch meat. So if you head to Jimmy John's and you grab a sub sandwich, you are at just as much risk of listeria as you are with eating a hot dog. So you can easily combat that risk with both lunch meat and hot dogs by just making sure your hot dog is cooked to an internal temperature of 165 degrees. The other thing that's not so great about hot dogs though, and this goes for you during pregnancy or not during pregnancy, is they do contain a lot of nitrates typically. Sometimes you can buy the hot dogs, while they are incredibly expensive, but probably worth the money, that do not contain nitrates. The reason nobody likes nitrates is because there are some links between nitrates and cancer, and while we don't know that that translates directly to our baby, who really wants to put you or your baby at risk for cancer? All that being said, I definitely ate a hot dog or two during my pregnancy. I just tried to make sure it wasn't something that was on the menu regularly for me because they just don't have that much nutritional value, and there were plenty of other ways that I could get my protein into my diet. If you are pregnant right now watching this video, you may be interested in some of the things that are going to happen to your lady parts after you have your baby. If that's the case, you might want to head over here and check out this video about 5 crazy things that your vagina does that are actually perfectly normal after you have your baby. Thanks so much for being here with me today. It's been a total pleasure hanging out. I will see you all in the next video.